Hello FPL managers and welcome back for another video. My name's Jack and today we're going to go over the buy hold sell for Gameweek 9. Obviously there's been a few changes around the channel now as we have integrated Facecam, and I'd just like to say thank you so much to all you guys for the support over the years making this possible. Also, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to show support for the channel and click the notification bell to not miss any future uploads. So with that being said, let's get into the video. So today we're going to have a look at 3 buy, 3 hold and 3 sell options to assist you guys with the transfer planning for the upcoming game week, whether you are on transfers or on a wildcard. As most of these players here I would recommend for both transfers and wildcard, as they do fairly have some good relative fixtures compared to some other teams from now until game week 16 when you do get that second wildcard available. The first one here is Wilfried Zaha. Looking at the buys, he's coming in at around £7.2 million and definitely a nice differential I think in midfield, as his ownership is sitting at about 15% at the moment. He does have some decent underlying stats as well with a 2.99 XG. He's only played 5 games so far this season and has actually put up 4 goals for Crystal Palace. I have seen a lot of people go for Maddison at 7.9, but personally I think with Zaha on penalties, he's got very good underlying stats at 7.2 million. I think that extra 0.7 can be spent around the squad, and Crystal Palace's fixtures are pretty much just as good as Leicester's, as I have seen a lot of managers jump on Maddison for his fixtures. Looking at Crystal Palace's fixtures though, they include Chelsea, Leeds, Leicester, Wolves, Everton and Southampton, so there's actually only one match which isn't a green rating from now until around game week 14, so definitely a very good differential option with a 15% ownership right now. Of course, he's getting lots of service for Crystal Palace, he's getting the chances, and since he's on penalties as well, he just is a more tempting option. Mitrovic is also another very good buy option. Whether you're not got him in the squad yet, you can always transfer him in, as he's a fairly affordable at 6.9 million, and of course if you're on a wildcard he pretty much is an essential option. Most teams do have him now. He's sitting at around a 30% ownership, but if you don't currently have him in the squad, he probably is one of the better forward options in the game right now, only behind Haaland and Kane I would say, but I have seen a lot of teams that haven't gone with Kane, so if you're looking for a cheaper forward, I do think Mitrovic is a nice pick. His underlying stats are also very impressive. I do believe he does have top 3 or 4 XG rating in the league out of all players. It is sitting at 4.1 right now, which is I think only better by Haaland, Kane and Jesus. He has recorded 6 goals as well. He's got himself 4 goals in his last 5, which is very impressive. And Fulham's fixtures are looking good with Newcastle, West Ham, Bournemouth, Aston Villa, Leeds and Everton. And then as a third buy option, we have gone with Kieran Trippier here. He's another one whose ownership is climbing, but definitely a great option to have on transfers or on a wild card as well, as he pretty much is an essential option from now until game week 16. Newcastle's defence has looked pretty solid so far. They've got themselves 3 clean sheets, and Trippier is always chipping in with that good attacking potential. I believe he's already got himself a goal and an assist this season. He's on corners and set pieces as well, which just makes him a much better option. He's putting in lots of attempted assists to his teammates, as I believe he does rank in the top 3 for defenders for attempted assists so far. So, you know, with Fulham, Brentford, United, Everton, Tottenham and Aston Villa as his next 6 fixtures, pretty much 4 out of those next 6 matches, he is very startable in, and I would expect him to get good points in those games. Of course, against Manchester United and Tottenham, you can always rotate him out, and if you are on a wild card, you should have that flexibility in the bench to do so. So definitely a very good option to have on the side. So with those buy options discussed, let's have a look at some hold picks. These are 3 players that have been fairly highly transferred out relatively compared to some other players this game week that I would recommend that you guys hold on to, as I do think especially with these 2 Liverpool lads here, they've got some good fixtures coming up from game week 12 onwards. Mo Salah is the first player here. He's coming in at 12.9 million, so still a decent price. He has dropped down 0.1, but for me, he probably is the better premium option now if you're looking between him, Kevin De Bruyne and Son. Just because since Man City do have that blank in game week 12, you're most likely going to be making that transfer from De Bruyne to Salah in that game week, so you might as well, especially if you are on a wild card, to have Salah in the team this week, even on transfers as well. I don't think now is the right time to get rid of him, because if you're looking at his fixtures here, Brighton at home in game week 9 isn't the worst fixture. Arsenal and Manchester City, yes, they're tough matches, but in the next 3 or 4 or so, Manchester City don't have the easiest fixtures either. Same goes with Tottenham. They do have a couple of tricky matches. I believe they have Arsenal as well in the next 3 games. And then from game week 12 onwards, Liverpool do clearly have the better fixtures, where a lot of people are going to be looking to get Salah back in anyway. So for me, if he's in the squad right now, you might as well just hold on to him, as you're probably booking in a transfer down the line, which is probably not necessary. Trent Alexander-Arnold is in the same kind of boat as well, as especially if you are on a wild card, I would consider having him in the side, and especially if you are on transfers, it's not worth using that transfer to get rid of him, and most likely just getting him back in game week 12. Well, Liverpool have got West Ham, Nottingham Forest, and Leeds as well there, I believe, as 3 fixtures in a row. Trent has provided some decent attacking threat with a 0.91 XA. I believe he's got himself a goal and an assist. Obviously, the main concern with Liverpool's defence is just the clean sheet perspective. Trent's always going to get those attacking returns, so once that fixture turn does happen, even Brighton at home in Game Week 9, a solid fixture from a defensive standpoint, and of course from Game Weeks 12 onwards, hopefully Liverpool can improve their defensive form and get more clean sheets, and of course that will mean plenty of points for Trent Alexander-Arnold. Ivan Toney is another one that has been a bit transferred out by managers. I believe he's nearly seen 100,000 people transfer him out, which is surprisingly high considering how well he started this season. I have seen a lot of people go for Mitrovic at 6.9. Also, Solanke has been a bit more of a popular pick recently, especially on some wildcard teams that I've seen. But I do think Ivan Toney is one that is potentially being overlooked, and I wouldn't be selling him right now as his underlying stats are very good, and Brentford do have some good fixtures coming up. He's got himself a 3.35 XG so far, recording 5 goals in the season, and he actually ranks in the top 3 for forwards for expected assists as well. I believe that's only behind Kane and Jesus, which is very high. It's sitting at nearly 2 actually, which is very impressive. He's got great fixtures, Bournemouth next up, then Newcastle, Brighton, Chelsea, Aston Villa and Wolves. So definitely a decent next 6 fixtures, but one that I would not be selling right now or not be necessarily getting rid of on a wild card if you are looking to play a 3 forward formation. Potentially Haaland, Mitrovic and Toney is the nice front 3 there, especially with Bournemouth at home this week. He's not one to transfer out. Let's have a look at some sell options now. These are 3 fairly popular players that I would consider getting rid of, even on transfers as well, but definitely look to get them out on a wild card, obviously because you do have those unlimited transfers if you are using that token this week. The first one here is Pascal Gross. He's coming in at 6 million. He was definitely previously a very strong option that proved to be great value, but his price has risen quite a lot, and those Brighton fixtures aren't looking the best, especially from an attacking standpoint, as in the next 4, they've got Liverpool, Tottenham, as 4 out of the next 6 is Liverpool, Tottenham, Manchester City and Chelsea, which are 4 fairly decent defences typically. So for me, probably not worthwhile having those Brighton assets right now. And with Gross's ownership sitting at about 25%, definitely one that if he's still in your team, it's time to move him out of the squad. Even if you are on transfers, there is a couple of good midfielder options going around right now at that mid-price price tag, should I say, with Zaha at 7.2. We discussed Madison at 7.9 as well, could be a decent pick, and I would prefer them over Gross right now. Looking at the Spurs lads here, we have gone with Perisic and Kulusevski as those 2 Tottenham players. For me, Perisic at £5.6 million is just not worth the money. Yes, he has provided 3 assists so far this season, but it's just a question of his starting minutes, and for me, they're just not consistent enough, especially with the Champions League going on right now, which Tottenham, of course, are participating in. It's just seen him get so many reduced minutes, and even since he got an assist against Leicester last game week, he still managed to just play the 54 minutes, and I think only walked away with around 2 or 3 FPL points despite getting an assist. He does have good underlying stats though, with a 1.15 XA and 2 clean sheets as well, but for me it's just a matter of those starting minutes, how much he's going to play. He's just not getting the FPL points from that, and for a player at £5.6 million, it's just not worth the money. Kulusevski, he's coming in at £8.1 million, another one that's not worth the value right now for me, as his underlying stats aren't really there, and those Tottenham fixtures, as you can see, do take a slight turn, with Arsenal and Brighton as the next 2, even Manchester United in 3 or 4 game weeks time. They've had a good defence recently. So for me, from an attacking standpoint, those next 4 fixtures for Tottenham aren't looking the greatest. Kulusevski, once again, £8.1 million. It's not worth that price. We discussed there with Gross, there's Zaha and Maddison right now, who I do think are two very solid buy options this week. And for me, if Kulusevski's in the squad, he's probably one worthwhile transferring out, or even on a wild card. He's one that has to go. You can free up a bit of money by going Zaha and Maddison as well. So definitely two better assets than him. And for me, those Tottenham players probably right now aren't the best picks. Maybe apart from Son and Kane you could get away with, as they've been in good touch last game week and probably could continue that form as they have proven it in the past. Thanks for watching today's video. Hope you guys found the buy hold sell for Gameweek 9 useful. Of course, let us know what you thought of the face cam. If you found it more entertaining, drop a comment down below, leave us your thoughts. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe as well, as it really does help out the channel. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one.